And joining me now is Gábor Lukács, advocate and founder of Air Passenger Rights. Gábor, thank you for being here. Let's start about these canceled flights. What obligations do airlines have to travelers when flights are canceled in circumstances like this?
Great to be with you. When a flight is canceled for any reason, the passenger has the right to choose between a refund in the original form of payment and alternate transportation. If the airline is unable to provide alternate transportation on its own or partner airlines, they have to rebook the passenger on competitor airlines. And if it is not possible from the original airport from which they were supposed to depart, then the airline has to arrange for transportation from a nearby airport and provide ground transportation from that airport. That doesn't matter if it was within the carrier's control, outside the carrier's control. These are basic rights passengers have, even if it is volcanic eruption or this type of situation that we see in Mexico.
What mistakes do travelers make in these types of situations?
The biggest mistake you can make is to accept a refund. If you accept a refund, then you waive your right to further alternate transportation, possibly to further claims. And at this point, it's not always clear whether the cancellation is within or outside the carrier's control because, for example, the airport may still be perfectly safe while the city is unsafe. All these are factual questions that unfold as the situation develops. So if you are stuck there in Mexico, don't accept a refund, insist on your alternate transportation. That's the main thing, and always record your phone calls, your communications with the airline.
Do the current regulations in place adequately cover these types of mass cancellations when they're tied with safety or geopolitical concerns, or are there any gaps that need to be reformed?
There are lots of gaps. The air passenger protection regulations is like a Swiss cheese. And unfortunately, we here in Canada don't have the benefit of the European Union's gold standard when it comes to protection. The most important aspect is that in Europe, in such a situation, passengers would be eligible to meals and accommodation, communication and ground transportation to and from the hotel, even if it is a situation of violence, even if it is volcanic eruption. It doesn't matter what the reason is, you have to sleep somewhere, you have to eat something, and that's something that the airline has to provide under the European laws. Not in Canada. In our made in Canada only set of rules, passengers, if this is really a situation outside the carrier's control, passengers are left hanging to dry on their own.
If someone has a ticket to a flight to Mexico elsewhere in the country and they decide that it looks too dangerous, they don't want to go, what options do they have?
Not much, unfortunately. If the flight is still operating on which you have a confirmed reservation, you cannot just decide on your own, I don't feel like going. That becomes more an insurance matter if you have an appropriate insurance to protect you for such situations. But if not, then perhaps you just want to stay home and lump the loss.
All right. All good information to know. Gábor, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's Gábor Lukács, advocate and founder of Air Passenger Rights.